Good evening everyone. Hello. I can see some students are already with me live for this session. I can see Khushi, Nishchay, Shweta, Soumyadeep. Hello everyone. Srijan. Hello Srijan, how are you? And let everyone join in, and then we will start discussing the questions on the mock test. Vaibhav, hello Srijan, Sai, Nishchay, Jessica, Dhanlakshmi, Khushi Agrawal, Agarsha Selvaraj, okay. Then there is something called Trendy Collections, okay. Kirthana, okay. Shweta, Khushi, Kalai, how are you? Swat. Good evening, Soumyadeep. Swaira, Kala, Deep, Vaibhav, Jessica, Kirthana, Ritika, Vaibhav, Sushil. Some gamer also is there. Deepika, Sai, Thanujan, Bruhan, Sabin, Praval, Sneha, Shubha, Kamlesh, Anish, Shankar, Vikas, Rupak, Sneha, Reet, Kamlesh. Welcome everyone. And very soon, because you know the students join the live session after they get the notification. So I'm just waiting for everyone to join so that when we discuss the questions, everyone should be with us. Garima, Virupaksh, okay. Gopi, Rishit, Khushbu, Shreya, Lakshmi, Induja. Good evening. I think there is somebody from biology also, that is Amoeba, named Amoeba. So welcome Amoeba. Khushi, Satish, Rashu, Rishi. Okay, so before we start, let me just tell you the things which we will be discussing. We will be talking about the question paper. We will be discussing the doubts. The paper is already on the app, and I guess most of you have already taken the test. And in case if there is any kind of doubt in the questions, those doubts will be clarified during these sessions. And I did make a video on the YouTube so that you understand how this test series is going to be conducted. So this test series is actually a free test series which is based on the new NEET pattern, because this is for the first time you will be getting an internal option in section B. So this test paper was designed in such a manner that you get the experience of that pattern, you get a practice of that pattern. And I have divided this into sections like botany, then zoology, then botany, and then zoology. This is how I'm going to be sending you the papers. And this test series I'm sure is going to help you a lot, because not only it is going to revise the concepts, your doubts will also be cleared. And I personally want to thank Nuisance, though the t-shirt brand, I did tell you about that. They have sponsored this complete test series. So the t-shirt which I am wearing is also designed by them, and I like their designs because they're trendy and at the same time traditional. So this design which I am wearing right now is called mandala. This is like one of my personal favorites. So you can visit, the link is in the description, so you can visit their store and check out. There are some very trendy designs which are going to suit you, that is youngsters. Okay. All right. So Amoeba is saying I'm in class 11th. Your lectures help me. Okay, I'm very happy to know that. Jagdish, good evening. Okay, 145 batch. So see, the students who already attended the 145 batch and then the crash course, they will also be able to join here, and we will be talking about the doubt clearing. Thank you, Renu, thank you. Okay, now whenever we are in a class, whether it is a YouTube live class or whenever I am conducting a class on my app, what we normally have set up a rule is, when I am talking about a particular question, that time students do not post any comment here. So same thing we will follow, so that I am able to solve the questions, and then when I ask you, in case if you have any doubt in those questions, that time you tell me the doubts. Okay, so for that time, Siva, Sanjeevani, okay Siva. So I am going to see you 2 times, Sanjeevani also and here also. Pramila. I'm good Pramila, thank you. Alright, so I am going to get started now, and I am assuming that all of you have taken the test, and you would have seen that section A, 35 questions, everything was compulsory. Section B had 15 questions, out of which you were required to attempt only 10. And this week, Tuesday, that is today, then Thursday and Saturday, we will be discussing all the questions, all 50 questions. Okay, so let us get started, and please do not post anything right now, because I am not going to be looking at the screen. I am going to go over the questions, and then when I prompt you, that in case if you still have any doubt, that time you write your comments. Okay, otherwise you will write something and I won't be able to read it. Let me start. The first question is saying the bacteria which can survive in absence of oxygen are known as, there is a blank, but otherwise they are. That means these bacteria which can survive in presence of oxygen, they are actually facultative anaerobes, and normally they are aerobes. So what is meant by this? That means normally they survive in oxygen containing medium, they are aerobes, and if oxygen is not available, they can survive in absence of oxygen also. So we call them facultative anaerobes. This is a very important concept. The questions are asked on facultative, because in obligate there is no confusion among students. Obligate means that condition is a must. So facultative based questions are more commonly asked questions. Okay, coming to the second one, this is a factorial question. There was Irish famine, and in Irish famine, potato crop was completely destroyed because of a fungal infection. So out of all the options given, late blight of potato, that was the disease which affected the potato crop, and the causative agent was Phytophthora infestans, which belongs to the group Phycomycetes. So this is a factorial question. Factorial question means you have to remember what was the name given to the famine, you have to remember what was the disease and the causative agent. Okay. Now coming to the third question. Amphipathic molecules of plasma membrane are held together by, that means we are talking about this phospholipid bilayer. These are phospholipid molecules, and when you say they are held together, so how are those two tail parts of this phospholipid and this phospholipid are together? So there is a weak force of attraction which is known as van der Waals force. So these two phospholipid layers are held together with their tails pointing towards each other because of weak van der Waals force. Okay, now coming to the fourth question. Fourth question is about pit membrane. Now to understand pit membrane, let us draw this. Suppose this is the middle lamella, which is made up of calcium or magnesium pectate. Then on both the sides there is suppose cell A and B. So A cell secretes the primary cell wall, B cell cytoplasm will also secrete primary cell wall. Primary cell wall has more of hemicellulose and less of cellulose. Then is deposited the secondary wall. Secondary wall is deposited in such a manner that there are areas where the secondary layer is not deposited. The reason is in the secondary wall, secondary cell wall, along with cellulose, hemicellulose, there are some other substances like pectin, cutin, suberin, and these substances are impervious to water and gases. So exchange between these two cells will not take place. So the areas where secondary wall is not deposited is known as a pit. Exchange takes place through this membrane, and this membrane is called the pit membrane. Now when you know what is pit membrane, you are able to answer the question. So it is made up of middle lamella and primary cell walls. Okay, so for that you need to know the structure, what all things are there. Okay, coming to fifth question, this is on DNA which is present in mitochondria. Mitochondria is semi-autonomous organelle, it has its own DNA. So there are points given. Mitochondrial DNA differs from nuclear DNA in lacking association with histone. Mitochondrial DNA is without histone, nuclear DNA is with histone, the nucleosome structure. Being circular, mitochondrial DNA is circular, whereas the normal nuclear DNA is linear. Third, having high C and G ratio, they have more of C and G. And whenever we talk of C and G, they pair by formation of 3 hydrogen bonds. So more number of bonds are there. There was a question asked in NEET only that the denaturation temperature of mitochondrial DNA is going to be higher or lower. It is higher because if you have to break so many bonds, more temperature will be required. So mitochondrial DNA differs from nuclear DNA on all these 3 points. No histone, being circular, and having more C and G ratio. And that is why, because of more C and G, it has higher denaturation temperature. Sixth question is again very important, again a concept based question. Here it is given that N is 16. So haploid number of chromosome is given as 16. Then how many bivalents are there in metaphase 1? What exactly is a bivalent and metaphase 1? So you know we have to pick the clues which are in the question itself. It is metaphase 1, that means we are talking about meiosis. And meiosis always takes place in a diploid cell. So it will be in meiocyte. Meiocyte is going to be 2N. This is one part which we have understood from the question itself. Now let us come to what is bivalent. Bivalent is a pair of homologous chromosomes. So if there are 32 chromosomes as 2N, there will be 16 pairs. So 16 pairs means there will be 16 bivalents. Okay? We have done 6 questions so far. Now tell me, if you have any confusion in these first 6 questions, you can post your question numbers if you have any doubt, okay? 1 to 6. I have gone over 1 to 6 questions. Is there any confusion in these questions? Simply post the number of the question and I'll go over that again. Nishchay is saying no question. Very good, no doubt, perfect. Sia, Manisha, Vandana, all clear. Manisha is saying all clear, that's perfect. Where can we find these questions? Akash, the test paper is on my app. Okay, wait, there is one question, let me see that. The sixth one, Mishti is asking about the sixth question. The sixth question is about bivalent. Bivalent means a pair of homologous chromosomes. It is called bivalent. Information which is given is n is equal to 16. So, if a cell is dividing by meiosis, that means the cell has to be diploid. So, it is going to have two sets, 32 chromosomes. How many pairs? So, it is going to have 16 pairs, and the pair is known as bivalent. Okay? Mitochondria, that is Rajshree's question. Mitochondria and chloroplasts are semi-autonomous. Perfect. Why? Okay, because they have their own DNA and they have their own ribosomes and they can replicate on their own. That is why we call them, yes, they can synthesize their proteins. So, for replication, division, what is required? Genetic material and proteins, because proteins will be acting as enzymes, formation of new membrane. So, they are semi-autonomous. Okay, those who have asked sixth question I have explained. Now, let me come to the fifth one again. Okay, Chintala is asking the second question. This is a factorial question. There was a period when in Ireland there was a fungal infection in potato crop. The disease was called late blight of potato and the causative fungus was Phytophthora infestans. Okay. Fifth question is mitochondrial DNA and nuclear. Mitochondrial DNA is circular. Mitochondrial DNA is not associated with histone, and mitochondrial DNA has more CG pairs as compared to nuclear. So, it differs in all these three parameters from the nuclear DNA. Okay? Alright, so I have answered 6th, 2nd, 5th. Dhanlakshmi, cutin is impervious to water. Yes, Dhanlakshmi. Okay, 6th, 5th, all these questions are, won't be the chromosome number half. See, half is 16. So, when a cell undergoes meiosis, the cell is not haploid, the cell is diploid. It is only meiocyte which can undergo. So, you have to half the number of this. That is how we are getting 32, oh sorry 16. Okay? Alright, so that was Murali's question. So, 5th, 6th, all questions have been answered. Very good. 2nd also, Azad, 5th also, very good. Now, let me start the next set. See, this is how we will do. So, when I am explaining, don't post any comment here, so that you know your attention is only towards the solutions, and then when I prompt you, then you write down the question, we will go over it. Only diploid cells undergo meiosis. Yes, that is Pravalika. Okay? Haploid cells. Yes, Pavandi. Perfect. Okay. Now, let me come to 7th question. 7th question is enzyme required in EMP. What is EMP? EMP is Embden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway. That is, we are talking of glycolysis here in eukaryotes. So, where does glycolysis take place? Glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. Instead of asking directly glycolysis, the other name named after the scientist is given EMP. So, answer is glycolysis, 7th. Okay, now let me come to 8th question. Again, this is NCERT. I have picked the words from NCERT. If you have read these lines, they are exactly same. So, here it says the amount of living matter and nutrient present at different trophic levels at a given time. The amount of living matter, that is organic matter, present in organisms of a trophic level at a given time it is known as standing crop, and the amount of nutrient which is present is known as standing state. These words are highlighted, given in bold in NCERT. And that is why we say that you need to read NCERT line by line, word by word. Okay? And nowadays, these type of questions are asked in NEET. If you look at, previous year's papers, you will find exactly similar type of questions. 9th question. Okay, again, this is, the factorial thing. What happened when? So, which of the following conferences obtained commitments from different countries? So, Kyoto Protocol, that was 1997, it was decided by all the participating countries that they will bring down the emission of greenhouse gases to control this global warming. Now, let me tell you about the Earth Summit. Earth Summit was to conserve biodiversity. Montreal Protocol was to minimize emission of substances which are responsible for depletion of ozone, and that is when CFC was banned. And Helsinki Declaration is actually based on human ethics, which should be followed whenever humans are used for any kind of experimentation. Right now, when the vaccine trials and everything was done, that time also when humans were used as volunteers, so there are these ethics, there is a list of things which is mentioned, that is Helsinki's declaration. Okay, 10th question is again as it is from NCERT. Which one of the following pairs of geographical areas show maximum diversity, biodiversity? These are hotspots. So, out of 34 hotspots, we have 3 areas in our country, Eastern Himalayas, Western Ghat, these are 2. So, Eastern Himalaya and Western Ghat, these are the 2 areas which are actually hotspots, very rich in biodiversity. 11th question is a tricky question. This question was asked about 4 or 5 years back, slightly in a different manner. It was about the smog, but it was given a different term, different way of writing it. Now, for that you need to know 2 types of smogs are there. Smog is fog and smoke. There are 2 types mainly, one is called LA smog and other is known as London smog. Now, mainly the difference is in the constituents. LA smog has ozone, it has peroxyacyl nitrate, main and nitrogen oxides, whereas London smog has sulfur oxide and suspended particulate matter. So, this is how you differentiate. Okay? Photochemical smog or LA smog, that is Los Angeles smog. This is London smog, which is also known as classical smog. Because of oxides of nitrogen, it has a brownish tinge into it, and it is also known as brown air. So, the question was asked on brown air. So, where will you find brown air? What is the composition of brown air? So, with the question which I was telling you was asked in the previous year exams was on brown air. It was not photochemical smog. Okay? So, now we are done till 11th question. So, 7th to 11th. Any doubt? 7th to 11th. Is there any confusion? I guess there is no doubt. Rajshri, the organic matter is standing crop, yes, and for mineral it is said as standing state. Okay. James Bond is asking about 10th question. This is hotspots, biodiversity, the areas which are rich in biodiversity in our country, Eastern Himalayas and Western Ghat. So, the third option which is given is the correct answer. All right, I think 11th question. Okay, see, it is on smog. Most of you, Mariam is also talking about 11th, Bhavna also 11th, brown air. Okay, this is Zoya I think. Okay, now let me just give you, there are two types of smogs which are famous. One is called Los Angeles smog, the second is called London smog, because they were detected there for the first time. The photochemical smog is Los Angeles smog, and the constituents which are there in this smog, along with fog and smoke, there is ozone, there is peroxyacyl nitrate and oxides of nitrogen. These are main things. London smog has sulfur oxides and SPM, suspended particulate matter. Okay? Because of oxides of nitrogen, photochemical smog or Los Angeles smog it looks brown in color. So it is also known as brown air. So the option which is the second option, it was first observed in Los Angeles, also known as brown air, and its constituents are ozone, PAN, NO2 and hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are there in smoke anyways, that unburnt carbon pieces. Okay? So I hope it is clear to everyone. Akshay has given 7th question. The question was about EMP pathway. EMP is Emden, Meyerhof and Parnas. That is glycolysis. Glycolysis was given by these three scientists, and glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. So this was just to trick you. Instead of asking you glycolysis location, I gave you the name of the scientist. Ritika is asking Montreal Protocol, that was previous question. Okay. See, these conferences are held between countries, and all the countries agree upon certain things. For example, you are asking about Kyoto. In Kyoto, it was decided to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. And in Montreal Protocol, it was decided to reduce the emission of ozone depleting substances. Okay? All right. Now, let me take few more questions. The 12th question. The 12th question is, in a coal-fired thermal plant, electrostatic precipitators are installed. There are two clues which are given. Coal is used in that thermal power plant. And whenever coal burns, suspended particulate matter is released. An electrostatic precipitator is used. Electrostatic precipitators are used to remove SPMs from the air. This is again exactly what is given in NCERT, that why is this electrostatic precipitator very effective. It is very effective. It can remove 99.9% SPM, suspended particulate matter, from the air. And SPM is normally released from these factories where coal is used as a fuel. 13th question, it is on lichens. There are 4 statements given and you were asked to pick the incorrect statement. The first statement is lichens are very sensitive to sulfur dioxide pollution in air and so are used as pollution indicator. This is correct. We have to pick the incorrect. Lichens are very less sensitive, so this is the incorrect. We will go over the third and the fourth also. Litmus is obtained from a lichen, Rossella. The litmus which we use for pH as pH indicator, it is obtained from a lichen. Lichens are pioneers in primary succession. Whenever there is primary succession in lithosphere on a rock maybe, then the first species to come and start the succession there is lichen. So, first, third and fourth statements are correct. The second statement is incorrect. I am on 14th question now. There are there is like a table given in the question. A column has my type of microbes, say B has the second column has the scientific name of that microbe, and the third column is talking about the commercial product. And there are few things which are blank given as A, B, C and D. So, A is Streptococcus, it is a bacterium given already, and it is used to produce a clot buster which is called streptokinase. So, streptokinase is that substance which dissolves the clot, so known as clot buster. Okay. Coming to the second one, B, Aspergillus Niger. So, Aspergillus Niger is a fungus. So, it should be a fungus in the first column in place of B. Then let us come to C. It says fungus, trichoderma, cyclosporin A, which is an immunosuppressant used during organ transplantation. So, C should be cyclosporin A. Then fourth says bacterium, and D, butyric acid. So, butyric acid we obtain from a bacterium, that is Clostridium. So, D should be Clostridium butylicum. Okay. So, A is Streptococcus, B is fungus, C is cyclosporin A and D is Clostridium butylica. Okay. I am on 15th question. The increased number and density of species in the region of ectone. Now, here we need to know what is an ectone. When we talk about ecosystems, suppose there is one ecosystem and say it is a grass land ecosystem, and there is a forest ecosystem. Now, in nature it is very difficult to have a clear cut demarcation that here the grassland finishes and the forest starts. There is some part, some region where there is an overlap. So, now what is going to happen? Here you have grasses, in forest you have variety of trees. So, in this area you will have grass also and tree also. On the grass, the dependent animals, organisms would be there. Here there will be animals which are dependent on trees. So, here you will find animals which are dependent on grass also and animals dependent on trees also. So, obviously, this region which is called the ectone is going to have richer diversity. Okay? It is edge effect. What is edge? Edge is the boundary. So, if the boundaries are overlapping in the ectones, then that effect is known as edge effect. Okay? I can take one more question, 16th. Again, it is factorial given by the scientist. Two different species cannot live for long duration in the same niche or habitat. This is Gauss principle. Gauss principle says that if two species are dependent on the same food material, live in the same habitat, then the superior one, the stronger one is going to eliminate the weaker one. So, that is Gauss principle. Okay. So, I think we will stop here. 16 questions we have done. Now, on Thursday, we will start from 17th question and then we will try to finish section A. So, I hope this test series is helping you. Ryan, thank you so much. I will be very happy if this test series is helpful to you and your doubts are cleared and you are able to clear NEET. Zova is saying highlight the question. No, for that you will have to go to my app, take the test paper, test there, and you have to write down the questions. From the app you can have that test paper downloaded with you. In meiosis 1 only one, Rajshri, in meiosis 1 only one. Okay. Next test, Saturday. So, today Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we will finish discussing this paper. Saturday, I will give you the next test. And the following week, again 3 days, we will discuss the questions. Rian is saying sure. Okay. And don't forget to go to the link of nuisance and watch the designs that they have. WebHub, when will be the next test uploaded? WebHub, it will be on Saturday. Okay? And okay, all right. Okay, so I'll see you on Thursday, same time, and we will continue from 17th question. Those who have not taken the test, please go to the app, download the app and take the test. See you on Thursday. Bye.